What was your dream?
I thought I would do something, with animals. Probably be, who knows? I mean, I was a waitress slash. I worked at a tanning salon.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just moved to the big city of Vancouver off the island. Even that people don't really leave the island a lot. So that was a brave move of mine, and I didn't know what was going to happen. It was my first plane ride when I went to Los Angeles.
From Baywatch bombshell to barefaced revelation, the woman who once defined Hollywood glamour now rejects it entirely. Pamela Anderson's transformation isn't just physical, it's revolutionary. Who cares about lighting? Just be free. These aren't words you'd expect from a woman whose image was meticulously crafted for decades. But at 57, Pamela Anderson has done the unthinkable in an industry obsessed with youth and perfection. She's embraced her natural self, completely makeup-free, and that's just the beginning of what she's revealed. The world did a double take when Pamela Anderson appeared at Paris Fashion Week completely makeup-free. No foundation, no mascara, nothing. But the real shock wasn't her bare face. It was the profound decision behind it. "I was at Paris Fashion Week getting ready for 3 hours in hair and makeup," Anderson revealed, "and I thought, I just really want to go to the Louvre. I want to see Paris. Who am I competing with? Why am I doing this?" In that pivotal moment, Pamela made a choice that would send ripples through the beauty industry. She simply walked out au naturel. The response blindsided her. Women stopped her on the street with gratitude. Mothers introduced their daughters. See this woman. In our filter-obsessed culture, Pamela's authenticity resonated deeply. What most don't realize is that this wasn't merely about skipping makeup. This moment represented the culmination of a 4-year journey of self-discovery that began when she retreated from Hollywood completely. Behind the headlines about her new look was a woman who had been quietly rebuilding herself away from the spotlight, rediscovering who she truly was beneath the decades of carefully crafted image and expectation. While Hollywood buzzed about Pam and Tommy, the Hulu series that exploited a painful chapter of her life without consent, the real Pamela Anderson was undergoing a profound transformation far from the spotlight. She wasn't hiding from the world, she was healing herself. "My garden saved me," she revealed. 3 or 4 years ago, I moved back home and renovated my little vegetable farm. I was renovating myself too. This wasn't a celebrity retreat, it was a homecoming. The woman once defined by red swimsuits and magazine covers traded glamour for growth, literal growth. She cultivated vegetables instead of her image, finding unexpected peace in the soil of her childhood home. During this period of quiet renewal, Anderson spent her days making pickles, writing a cookbook, and reconnecting with the earth. The industry that had typecast and exploited her for decades became increasingly irrelevant to her daily existence. In her garden, she wasn't Pamela Anderson, the icon. She was simply Pamela, digging, planting, and flourishing away from judging eyes. She might have continued this peaceful existence indefinitely, content with her homegrown life, until a script arrived that would change everything. When director Giacopoulos sent Anderson the script for The Last Showgirl, it initially didn't even reach her. Her agent rejected it within an hour. What the public doesn't know is how the script finally found its way to her, through her son Brandon, and her reaction. "This is mine. I've got to do this." The parallels were uncanny. The film follows Shelley Gardner, an aging Las Vegas showgirl who faces the end of her career when her long-running show is shut down. Like Pamela, Shelley is underestimated, discounted, and fighting to take her power back. "I had so much empathy for Shelley. I fell in love with her," Pamela revealed. "It's a very touching and beautiful story that isn't exploitative towards women." But the most shocking part? Pamela Anderson, the woman written off as just a pretty face for decades, delivered a performance so powerful it earned her a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress. The actress, who many assumed couldn't string a full sentence together, was suddenly being mentioned alongside the industry's most respected performers. As she put it with characteristic candor, having nothing to live up to is kind of a good position to be in. You can surprise anybody, even with a full sentence. You're genius. The success of The Last Showgirl brings to light an uncomfortable truth. Hollywood has systematically underestimated Pamela Anderson for decades, and she wasn't the only one. "I underestimated myself too," she admitted. "You've got to believe in yourself for others to believe in you." When asked why she thinks she was underestimated for so long, Director Gia Coppola explained what many in the industry won't openly acknowledge. Being a beautiful woman, you get typecast in a way. What's truly shocking is how the industry treats women as disposable, both young and aging. Pamela describes auditioning for roles where men look through you, not seeing you as a performer, but as some widget that he can either plug into his production or not. Yet, even at 57, Pamela refuses to back down. In one powerful scene in the film, her character defiantly states, "I'm 57 and I'm beautiful." That's not just acting. That's Anderson reclaiming her narrative. Perhaps the most surprising revelation from Pamela Anderson is that she sees this not as the end of her journey, but the beginning. "I've always wanted to be an actress," she shared. "I'm really happy that I get to do that." After decades in the spotlight, Pamela is finally being recognized for her talent rather than her image. Her Golden Globe nomination, SAG Award nomination, and her prominent role at this year's BAFTA Awards all signal a new chapter. And it's not just her acting career that's flourishing. Her cookbook, I Love You: Recipes from the Heart, reveals another side of Pamela, a thoughtful, nurturing home cook passionate about plant-based cuisine. "I just feel like the stars are aligning and the dots are connecting," she reflected. For a woman who has weathered countless storms in the public eye, from invasive media coverage to exploitative portrayals, her lack of bitterness is perhaps the most shocking revelation of all. "I don't look at any relationship as a failure," she says of her much-publicized love life. What is a failure? Is it a failure to stay in a relationship that isn't good for you? At 57, Pamela Anderson has shed more than just makeup. Free from Hollywood's expectations and her own limiting beliefs, she's experiencing what she candidly calls the best time in my life. "I feel so strong, I feel so excited and inspired," she shares, her words carrying undeniable authenticity. Perhaps the most surprising revelation is the simplest. "I am me. I'm more me than I've ever been." This isn't the typical Hollywood comeback story of reclaiming former glory. Anderson isn't trying to resurrect her younger self or chase relevance. Instead, she's finally stepping into the spotlight as her authentic self, a woman who has weathered storms and emerged with hard-won wisdom. By embracing her natural beauty and pursuing roles with substance, Anderson isn't just rewriting her own narrative. She's challenging our collective assumptions about beauty, aging, and reinvention. "Feel the fear and do it anyway," she advises. "That's how you grow." In an industry built on artifice and youth obsession, Anderson's journey reminds us that true transformation isn't about changing who you are. It's about becoming more fully yourself. For Pamela Anderson, this growth has just begun, and the world is watching with newfound respect.
Obviously, with any type of cancer, the earlier it's detected, the best chance for treatment and potentially a cure. I think from all indicated reports, her cancer was caught at a relatively later stage.
And we've heard these stories about her going to Germany to seek alternative treatments. Do we know anything about that?
They weren't as fringe as they were made to appear. They were chemotherapy injected into tumors for all indicated reports.
In the glittering world of Hollywood, where stars rise and fall like the California sun, one golden-haired icon faced her final battle away from the cameras that once adored her. Farrah Fawcett, the woman whose smile captivated millions, whose feathered locks launched 1,000 salon appointments, and whose red swimsuit poster adorned more walls than perhaps any image in history, fought her last fight not against fame's fleeting nature, but against a merciless enemy that cared nothing for her celebrity: cancer. What really happened in those final days? The truth is both more heartbreaking and more inspiring than most realize. Born in Texas in 1947, Farrah skyrocketed to fame in 1976 with her role as Jill Monroe on Charlie's Angels and that iconic red swimsuit poster that became the best-selling pinup of all time. Despite leaving the show after just one season, her cultural impact was indelible. While her post-Angels career had ups and downs, from critical flops like Somebody Killed Her Husband to powerful performances in The Burning Bed, Farrah remained in the public eye through her decades-long relationship with actor Ryan O'Neal and their son, Redmond. The diagnosis that changed everything. In September 2006, at 59 years old, Farrah Fawcett appeared to be the same golden-haired beauty who had captivated America for decades. She had just made a triumphant public appearance, reuniting with her Charlie's Angels co-stars Kate Jackson and Jaclyn Smith to honor legendary producer Aaron Spelling. But away from the cameras and the adoring fans, Farrah was suffering. "My body is just killing me," she confided to close friends. Initially, she suspected food poisoning from bad spinach, a simple explanation for her increasing fatigue and discomfort. The truth was far more devastating. Doctors delivered the crushing diagnosis: anal cancer. Though relatively rare, affecting about 8,300 Americans yearly, this form of cancer is often treatable when detected early, with a 5-year survival rate of approximately 67%. For Farrah, however, the grim news came too late. Her cancer was already in an advanced stage, significantly diminishing her chances of recovery. Farrah faced her diagnosis head-on, immediately beginning aggressive chemotherapy and radiation treatments. "I'm going to bite the bullet and fight the fight," she declared with characteristic determination. At first, her courage appeared rewarded. In February 2007, just 5 months after her initial diagnosis, doctors delivered the news everyone had hoped for: Farrah was cancer-free. The victory celebration lasted mere months. During a routine follow-up exam in May 2007, doctors discovered a malignant polyp. The cancer had not only returned, but had spread to her liver. The diagnosis was devastating. Stage 4 terminal cancer, leaving Farrah facing the fight of her life. Farrah traveled to Frankfurt, Germany, seeking alternative treatments not available in the United States. There, she underwent chemoablation, direct injection of chemicals into affected organs, along with laser ablation and high doses of immune-boosting vitamins. These experimental treatments, administered by Professor Thomas Vogel and Dr. Ursula Jacob, were controversial. Many oncologists questioned using laser ablation for patients with Farrah's advanced cancer, noting it was typically used only for pain relief in terminal cases. Through it all, Farrah made another crucial decision: to document everything. Farrah wanted to show the world what the face of cancer really looked like, explained her best friend Alana Stewart, who filmed even the most agonizing moments of Farrah's battle. The footage captured Farrah vomiting, writhing in pain, clutching her rosary and begging for relief. At one point, while violently ill, she looked up and asked Alana why she wasn't filming. Her mission was clear: break down society's walls of silence around cancer's brutal reality. Perhaps most revealing was Farrah's decision to decline standard surgical treatment that would have removed both her anus and rectum, leaving her with a colostomy bag. It was an option she wasn't willing to pursue, preferring quality of life over potentially prolonging it. The documentary that shocked America. In May 2009, just 1 month before her death, NBC aired Farrah's story, chronicling her cancer battle. Nearly 9 million viewers watched as the once glamorous sex symbol appeared frail, her famous blonde hair fallen out in clumps. The contrast was stark and deliberate. This was a woman whose hairstyle had been imitated by millions who had represented the pinnacle of beauty. Now she allowed cameras to capture her at her most vulnerable, bald, in agony and fighting for every breath. Who would have dreamed that this girl who was so known for her smile and the hair and the glamour would open up the depths of her soul to share with the world, said her co-star Jaclyn Smith. By April 2009, Farrah's condition had deteriorated dramatically. She was rushed to the hospital with a painful abdominal hematoma, a dangerous blood clot in her abdominal muscles, likely caused by the repeated liver injections she had received during her German treatments. Her once vibrant energy was fading rapidly, with Ryan O'Neal reporting that she spent most days at home asleep, her body weakening as the cancer continued its relentless advance. In these final weeks, her 91-year-old father, James, made the journey to say goodbye to his daughter. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching moment came when her troubled son, Redmond, serving time for drug-related offenses, was granted permission to visit. He appeared at his mother's bedside in shackles, under guard supervision, for what would be their final moments together. Her friend Mila Murphy, who remained by Farrah's side at St. John's Medical Center, later revealed that the dying actress repeatedly called out her son's name in her final days. As the end approached, a hospital priest suggested that Farrah and Ryan O'Neal, who had shared a tumultuous but enduring 30-year relationship, should marry. Farrah consented to the idea. She said, "Okay, let's get married," O'Neal later recalled. but by then, she was so weak that he was only able to give her the last rites. On June 25, 2009, surrounded by Ryan O'Neal and her closest friends, Farrah Fawcett took her final breath at St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica. She was 62 years old. In a cruel twist of fate, her passing was overshadowed by the shocking death of Michael Jackson later that same day. This phenomenon became so notable that entertainment journalists coined the term getting Farrah Fawcetted when one celebrity's death is eclipsed by another's. Her funeral was held on June 30, 2009. Her son Redmond was permitted to leave detention to deliver a reading. She was laid to rest at Westwood Village Memorial Park in Los Angeles, her simple tombstone bearing just her name. In those final days, the woman who had spent decades being objectified for her beauty forced America to see her humanity. The cameras that once captured her iconic smile now recorded her suffering, not for sympathy, but for truth. Too often, cancer is something we keep hushed. It's nitty-gritty and heartbreaking to confront. But Farrah wanted to break down those walls and encourage people to take it seriously, to get checked earlier when treatment is more effective. Farrah Fawcett was not just a beautiful face on a poster. She was a fighter who, in her final act, transformed from sex symbol to symbol of courage. And that is what really happened in the tragic last days of an American icon.
It's $100 million. Maybe you guys should get some money together, and I'll go down and get it, and you guys can buy me some tickets too.
You got a better chance of getting struck by lightning.
It's easy to get struck by lightning. Hold a big metal pole up in a rainstorm.
Reality star collapses in courtroom. The beloved Pawn Stars personality Austin Chumlee Russell faced a shocking moment when he fell unconscious during his own sentencing hearing. But what led to this dramatic courtroom scene? From pawn shop worker to millionaire TV star to facing 20 years in prison, Chumlee's wild journey took the most unexpected turn when police raided his Las Vegas mansion. Guns, drugs, and a secret double life. The lovable reality TV personality had a shocking dark side that nobody saw coming. For over a decade, Austin Chumlee Russell has been one of reality television's most beloved personalities. Known for his laid-back attitude and comedic timing on History Channel's Pawn Stars, Chumlee quickly became a fan favorite and household name. What began as a job at his friend Corey Harrison's family pawn shop turned into television stardom when Pawn Stars premiered. The show became a cable TV phenomenon, producing over 500 episodes and making Chumlee an unexpected breakout star. Despite being initially cast as the shop's comic relief, Chumlee proved his value by developing expertise in specific collectibles. His genuine personality and emotional connection with viewers helped cement his place in reality TV history. But as Chumlee's fame grew, so did the pressure. In his own words, "I've lived two completely different lives. Fame has a way of making you feel invincible. I was determined to enjoy every moment, especially when people recognized me everywhere I went. That fame translated into serious money." Chumlee leveraged his celebrity status into multiple business ventures, including a candy shop on the Las Vegas Strip and a personal clothing line. His social media showcased a life of luxury, expensive cars, a mansion, and an extensive collection of sneakers and jewelry. However, behind this carefully crafted public image, a troubling reality was taking shape. "I went from being an ordinary guy to someone who couldn't go to Walmart without taking 500 photos. Chumlee once revealed in a rare candid interview, "It drove me crazy. I turned to things to help me deal, and it almost cost me everything." The gap between his lovable on-screen persona and his private life continued to widen. Then, in March 2016, everything came crashing down. Las Vegas police raided Chumlee's mansion. Initially connected to a sexual assault investigation, what officers discovered inside led to charges that shocked fans across the country. According to court records, police found multiple firearms, including assault rifles, along with drugs and drug paraphernalia. The search warrant, initially executed for an unrelated investigation, uncovered a side of Chumlee that nobody had seen on television. While no sexual assault charges were filed due to insufficient evidence, prosecutors built a strong case on multiple felony weapons and drug charges. If convicted on all counts, Chumlee faced up to 20 years in prison. The legal battle that followed captivated both entertainment news and Chumlee's millions of fans. As he entered the courtroom for his trial, camera flashes illuminated his somber expression. Notably absent were his Pawn Stars co-stars. Prosecutors painted a damning picture, presenting evidence of what they described as serious violations of controlled substance and firearms laws.